The book of Genesis, chapter 41, from verse 1 onwards, it says, "And it came to pass at the end of 2 full years that Pharaoh dreamed, and behold, he stood by the river. And behold, there came up out of the river 7 well-favored kine and fat-fleshed, and they fed in a meadow." I welcome you to today's program, and in this program, we're going to be talking about different dreams that different people had, how they chose to pay attention to their dreams, even though they didn't understand, and how they benefited from their decision of paying attention to those dreams. I'm going to share with you today of a real life story. This is a friend of mine that had a dream. She didn't understand the dream. She chose to write the dream down, and we will see how this dream helped her. We will see how her decision to pay attention to the dream helped her along the way. So this friend of mine saw herself in a dream, saw herself in a school environment, and she said the unique thing about the dream was that her classmates, her friends, every student that she saw was busy packing their belongings because they were supposed to move from that place to another place. So she also had to do the same. But one of the advantages was that a friend went to her apartment to help her pack everything she had. This friend put everything together. The friend took those things to the first floor. I mean, my friend didn't have to do anything because she already had someone that was helping her. And in the dream, she didn't ask for that help. The person just went to her apartment and started helping her. So there were some other things in the apartment that didn't belong to my friend. So she had to remind the owners not to forget their things. And there were some leaders that went to the apartment to just do a general inspection to make sure that everything was being done according to plan. And then she woke up. So she said, "Ruth, I didn't understand this dream because around that time, she didn't see herself moving. She didn't even hear of any announcement from the school that they were supposed to move." So she just didn't understand. But what did she do? She decided to write it down and observed and watched, because she knew that as things began to happen, she was going to eventually understand the dream she had. So she said a few weeks later, her class teacher held an online class meeting. And in the meeting, the teacher told them that after the end of that month, electricity and water was not going to be available for them to use around in the dormitory areas. So the solution that the school came up with was that after the end of that month, they were all going to move to the campus that was at the city center. This information was given to them very sudden, and it was not very convenient for them at that time because they were preparing for their final exams. And if you are pursuing education at any level, or if you're in a season where you are focusing to achieve something important, you know how it feels when you are focused and suddenly something just interrupts your focus or your preparation. So it was not very funny, and most of the students were complaining because they didn't see this coming. They were asking, why do you want to make us move during the time that we're supposed to focus on our exams, our final exams? Why didn't you wait for us to finish our exams and then tell us that we're supposed to move? But this friend of mine said as the teacher kept on talking and as the students kept on asking questions, the Holy Spirit reminded her of the dream she had a few weeks ago that didn't make sense to her at that time. The Holy Spirit reminded her, and from that point, she realized that, wow, God just told me something before it happened. She realized that God saw that coming, and from that point, she realized that she didn't have to panic. She knew that the Holy Spirit was going to give her wisdom on how to manage her time to study and pass, and at the same time, pack her belongings and move to the campus that was at the city center. Everybody else was panicking because everybody else didn't see this coming. But God talked to her before that happened. And she eventually benefited from paying attention to her dreams. Just like the way God spoke to Pharaoh about something that he was about to do, is the same way God spoke to my friend about something that was going to happen before it happened. And it's the same way God is speaking to you today. Pharaoh was not a believer, but you and I are believers. Maybe Pharaoh didn't have anything to lose. I mean, what's the point of paying attention to a dream, a revelation that doesn't even make sense? We assume that every time God speaks to us, it has to make sense to our human mind, to our human thinking. We think that everything has to make sense every time God speaks to us. And we choose to ignore the dreams that God gives us. When you have a dream that you don't understand, do you choose to ignore it, or do you choose to make the right decision by writing it down, pray about it, watch, observe, and eventually, as things begin to happen, the Holy Spirit will remind you of what He told you few weeks ago, few months ago, few years ago. Maybe God is trying to let you know that someone in your family is about to do something crazy. Or maybe there's a decision that your family members are going to make that may end up hurting you. And when that happens, you will realize that, wow, God saw this coming. It will help you know how to react towards the situation. This pandemic has affected the economy in a very big way. And if you are a business person, you better pay attention to your dreams. Because God may be trying to tell you that, hey, a month from now, the business or the market is going to get worse than it is already. Maybe God is trying to tell you that you need to make the right strategies to make more money, so that when the business is not going towards the right direction, the strategies that you have made before that happened will help you not lose a lot of money. Maybe God is trying to tell you something about your job. Maybe God is telling you that your boss is about to fire everyone, and that you need to look for another job. But of course, we don't pay attention. If you don't pay attention to your dreams, you're the one losing. Just like the way God is speaking through His Word, through visions, through prophecies, through our pastors, our leaders in the church, is the same way God is speaking to us through our dreams today. I encourage us today to pay attention to our dreams, because they are all meant to help us. See you in the next program. Goodbye.